Ladies and gentlemen, Anne Hardy, her story, The Journey. The Journey, Anne Hardy.
Got into the waiting car, and she settled herself comfortably on the back seat. She was so pleased she didn't have to drive today. She knew the way, or roughly knew the way, but it would have meant somebody was directing her, and she would have got a little bit harassed, so she was pleased to just sit back and relax. As the car drew away from the curb, she noticed just outside the window a little girl waving to her, quite shyly. So she waved back. Oh, she thought, that must be her daddy with her. They look so much alike. Little girls and their daddies. I'm so pleased he's holding on to her hand, very sensible. Yes, little girls. You know, they run to their daddy when they fall over, and they flutter their eyelids when they want something, and it always works, and always will. She settled back into the seat. It shouldn't take too long to get there, about 20 minutes. I wonder if I'll recognise anywhere as we're going through. Maybe just catch a glimpse of somewhere I know. I'll just enjoy the view. Oh, I remember that. That's the back of the park where we lost the dog all those years ago. Oh, I remember that weekend. My goodness, Jane the dog. She didn't usually go astray at all, but this weekend she just must have caught the scent of a rabbit, and boom, she was off. Acres and acres and acres of parkland. We didn't find her for 2 days. She thought, I remember my mother just stayed up for 2 days as well. I think she walked through the park. That's right. Jane never usually did that. She was a good dog. Well, retrievers usually are, aren't they? You know, they've just got a lovely personality. That was a fun time. Well, almost. Yeah, that's the park. I remember. She sat back. I wonder who'll be there. I do hope Jill and Tony can make it, and Maureen. I really would love to see them, but you know, Tony hasn't been too good, so maybe he won't do it, but oh, gosh, we had some good times when we were younger. We used to go and stay there in the holidays, and as she sat there, she thought about the fun and the adventures and all the trouble they used to get into. My goodness, she thought, good job my mother didn't know. She'd never have let me go back again. It'd be lovely to see them, but maybe not. She looked out the window. It looked a bit cold out there, and she settled down and pulled a coat around her. She knew that when she actually got out of the car, it would be cold, and so instinctively she rubbed her hands together, but she was going to relax and going to enjoy the ride. She closed her eyes just for a moment. They must be getting closer, she thought. I feel my heart starting to beat. Wow. She closed her eyes. She heard the tick-tock of the indicator turning left, and she felt the car slow down. Oh, it was beating faster. Her brother turned around from the front seat and smiled. She smiled back. Heart starting to beat. We must be getting close. She looked out the window. She could see the huge iron gates just swinging back. They stood back at the entrance, waiting for them to go. The car went in slowly, and she looked around. Oh, this time of year, no roses out. That's a shame. Never mind. But just here and there, the crocuses, yellow, purple. Oh, there's a snowdrop right underneath the tall trees. How beautiful. How lovely. She saw the sweep of the drive, and it disappeared. It was covered and surrounded by huge trees on either side. What a grand entrance. Heart started again, just beating. think so, but you never know, do you? There were still people coming out of the little blue door outside. Wow, what a lot. The flowers just took her breath away. The car continued on, slowly, and went around a corner, and the people were hidden from view. The car stopped. She and the others got out, and they stood quietly. And then the attending minister came and shook their hands, and then led them into the small chapel. There were just the three of them, and the photograph of her father. Not 300. She smiled. She thought only 3, not 300. But you know, the quality of a life cannot be measured by what we have